Update came out today. I'm sure you're doing a lot of discussions behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, when an update comes out, we've solidified most of it. So the discussions we've been having this week and into the last. I mean, of course, there's always fixes that we're doing towards the end of pushing an update, but other stuff. Focusing on other stuff right now. But what questions do you have about the DZ?
A lot of questions about size and incentive, right? There's a lot of people who would rather spend their time doing other things than DZing. A lot of people today I asked what their DZ level, and some people haven't even jumped in yet.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense.
So the question is, are there plans to look at DZ rewards and tweak them a bit, or make it more rewarding for people to jump in any way, shape, or form?
That's a great question here. You could be an interviewer. Look at you.
I'm not doing. It's not that it's a hard question.
Yeah.
You got the answers, right?
I tell you what. If I'm just looking at my personal player experience, I need more incentive to go into the Dark Zone right now. Currently, I mean the living world is so much fun. There's so many things to do, and I'm getting rewarded for my time, and it feels good, and I'm getting everything I need from the open world. And so it makes a lot of sense to me that people are saying, hey, why would I want to go an extra, have that extra risk to go in the Dark Zone? So I can't talk about specifically what our plans are. We have a whole lot of plans. We have a whole lot of plans. I mean, you guys know this. I mean, it's a process. I think that's important for everyone to understand. I think developers are artists, not just people that make a video game. And we always have things we want to try. And the only way to really hone in on something that's exceptional is to fucking fail a little. Hey, we tried that. That didn't work. Hey, we had an idea. It looked good on paper and it tested well in a group of 100,000 people. But what about when millions of players play it? What is it like now?
You never really know.
You never really know. And that's the phenomenal part about our community. They tell you. They tell you.
They'll test the shit out of it too.
Yes, exactly.
The Dark Zone feels empty right now to you.
Well, the test I just had, the Dark Zone did not feel empty. Wow. The Dark Zone did not feel empty in the test I was just in. So we're doing some other things.
Oh.
Yeah, we're doing some things.
Oh.
I want to tell people, not just people, you, my Division family. I want to tell all of you. I love this hallway, by the way. That our experiences are, in most cases, identical to yours. I go into the Dark Zone on my own. Sometimes I see 4 people. Sometimes I see 8 people. Sometimes I see no people, right? So we know why. We know exactly why that's occurring, because as soon as we started seeing that, we started digging in, and you guys know at least my approach to this on social media that I participate in is I'll take your feedback. I'm not going to explain it or tell you why it is the way it is on my particular platform of social media, but we're listening and we're looking and we're investigating and we're working. I think that's the key, is we're definitely not just sitting around with nothing to do right now. We have a lot to do, and every day we're working. I'm sorry, did I distract you?
It's okay. Hey, I'm listening.
Okay.
You're doing so well.
Thanks. I'm doing well.
I'll tell you what, too. I'm still getting used to the hair, man.
Yeah, for sure. So we are making some changes and some improvements that I'm in love with. I'm in love with. In part because it helps us really, really understand what worked and what didn't. And it helps us make the Dark Zones and PvP a better place. So that's cool. So yeah, I'm sorry I can't give specifics.
No, you don't got a timeline for me?
No, there's a whole list.
Nothing to expect?
Yeah, a whole list of stuff, my friend.
That's awesome.
A whole list.
That's good to hear, man.
Thank you.
You guys are on it.
Yeah, I'm very excited too. I don't think, hey, when you are lucky enough to participate in the creation of a game that millions of people play, and I'm not going to give specific numbers, but we are in the multiple millions of players, not everyone's ever going to be happy at the same time. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Now, I don't know how much of a role, if any,
that
Red Storm had in the decision to change the weapon mods that went live today.
Okay.
removing some of the negative attributes and balancing out some of the other ones. But there's a lot of opinions about how they stand now. Some people don't really like it.
Oh.
They miss all of that magazine size in their guns.
Oh, yes, yes, okay.
And they're curious why that change was made. And again, you might not be the right guy for the job to answer that question, but at the very least, as a creative director,
yes,
how does that decision align with, well, one, how tough is it to make a decision like that? And I guess we'll start there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Again, man.
I'm trying, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to word it.
You're doing great. Is he doing great?
Oh, man.
At home right now, if you could do me a favor and just clap. My man Ampy right here. Just take a moment and just like,
yeah,
because these are good questions. So here's the deal with the mods. I have tremendous respect and love for Frederick Thailander. You guys, if you're active, you know he is also active on Twitter, and he reaches out to the community when he's comfortable. He has a big responsibility on his shoulders. You know, he shares it with the rest of the design staff at Massive and with the designers here at Red Storm. But, oh, dude, what? Wow.
Keep talking.
Ghostface Killer.
Keep talking, man.
Damn.
I just wanted to see if I can still hit him.
I say you can hit him. What was that?
That was my model still.
Okay.
So it did get a change as of this morning, but I'm still using Araldi.
We got some more changes coming.
Oh, hey man, I'm sure. I'm sure.
You know, Frederick, we looked at that, you know, as a staff, you know, as a worldwide staff, and you know, we just found. I don't want to speak for Frederick, first of all, but he has absolutely all the details. I do not have all the details, so let's I can't think of the word. Let's
get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's qualify these statements. Let's make sure everyone understands that
works for me, man. This
isn't everything, and this isn't specifically exact, but you know, speaking anecdotally, that's probably not even the correct term.
Dude, we're just running through it today.
Yeah. The mods weren't as popular as we want them to be. People were resistant to negative stats, first of all. So something good, something bad, and people weren't jiving. They just did not. You know, there were people that were not using mods, and that's the exact opposite of what we want. We want you to craft these things. We want you to use them and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, Frederick dug into it, and hey, I think he said it on State of the Game. In fact, I didn't get to give him. I wanted to give him props on his recent State of the Game. I know they had some technical difficulties, but you know, I totally agree with what he said, which was, hey, you know what? We tried something, didn't work. You know.
That's exactly what you said for the Dark Summit.
Yes, exactly. So, big shout out to Fefe, but. So that's the biggest reason why we took away the negative attributes. Now you're saying,
clicking it once and now it points instead of instead of clicking once to heal.
Yeah, I mean that is another one where I've heard both sides of the coin. So when we have a sort of a split, what we're perceiving as a split, like some people are like, I love that it operates like a weapon, you know, because that it feels like how it should in their opinion. And other people say, I don't like that. When we get a split like that, then usually it just falls into the hands of, all right, well, developers, what do you want?
Yep.
So right now, this is what we're preferring.
Oh, I'm going to get shot, T.
It takes time to get used to it. Again, anytime something changes from what you were used to, you know. I first experienced that in games like World of Warcraft, you know, where they had live abilities, and for me, that was the really occupied DZ and the normalized DZ, i.e. no normalized stats with normalized DZ mechanics. That's a good question, Pardon. We've got a lot of things on the docket that have to do with the occupied DZ and normalization and the standard dark zones. So all I can say is keep your eyes open. You mentioned about getting the Black Tusk outfit when you get all the items from the caches, right? What if we buy those caches with credits? Do we get the same outfit?
Yes, you do. Clive, yes, you do. It's a completion reward. So regardless of how you earn the caches purchased or in-game, you still get the uniform.
Nice.
And
we've had this discussion a number of times. Do people want a BR mode? You know what I mean?
I want to kill this guy, T.
Go.
I'm not ready yet. I'm too close, remember? I got
yeah.
element of surprise.
Back on up.
Oh, no, no, no.
Terry, thanks for the response. Yeah, pardon.
Oh, I'm on cooldown, that's why.
That's why I'm here. That is why I'm here. I don't know, says survival was kind of like BR. Yeah, it was kind of like BR. I mean, that's usually where our conversation goes, is that,
yeah.
you know, the original game sort of had its version of BR, except it wasn't PvP-centric, right? You had the ability to, even in the PvP mode, you didn't have to be the last man standing. You just could be the last man standing. Everybody could get out if you wanted to. And I think that's what, it made it pretty unique for me. You're just tracking these bros. So after raids, we'll get survival, right? I had so much fun with survival, you know. You know what I'm so happy about is that this entire staff, all across the world, right? We've discussed this a lot with the community. It's us here at Red Storm. It's the lead studio in Sweden in Massive. It's a couple of groups in the UK with Leamington and Newcastle. It's the squad in Annecy in France. And then it's headquarters in Paris, right? Right now everyone is committed to game health. I love it because, you know, no one's pushing, you know, big content. I had a comment on Twitter actually. I posted, nice shot. I posted, hey, here's the trailer to Tidal Basin. And one response was, why don't you fix the game? And, you know, again, I don't get into it on Twitter. What I wanted to say was, hey, bro, we finished this a while back.
Yeah.
And so we just wrapped it up, and now it's time to come out. Anytime you have these live games and you have content planned for the whole year, that has to start well before release, right? So, you know, the great thing is I can sit here and say we are looking at all the things in the game across all aspects of the game, and we're fixing things in the game that community have said, hey, did you know you get stuck here? Hey, guess what? The world disappears here. Hey, I can't get in this room. Hey, I can't get in this box. Hey, I don't like your normalization. Hey, PvP. Hey, you know, all the things.
Yeah.
And so Paris is like, go. Do it. Do it. No one's pushing, you know, big content. I had a comment on Twitter actually. I posted, nice shot. I posted, hey, here's the trailer to Tidal Basin. And one response was, why don't you fix the game? And, you know, again, I don't get into it on Twitter. What I wanted to say was, hey, bro, we finished this a while back.
Yeah.
And so we just wrapped it up, and now it's time to come out. Anytime you have these live games and you have content planned for the whole year, that has to start well before release, right? So, you know, the great thing is I can sit here and say we are looking at all the things in the game across all aspects of the game, and we're fixing things in the game that community have said, hey, did you know you get stuck here? Hey, guess what? The world disappears here. Hey, I can't get in this room. Hey, I can't get in this box. Hey, I don't like your normalization. Hey, PvP. Hey, you know, all the things.
Yeah.
And so Paris is like, go. Do it. Do it. Balancing volume. Is dev team looking at it? Please, thanks, says Pyromaniac. I haven't been made aware of any particular audio bugs, but I am not the audio director. I haven't experienced it myself. Do you know anything about this?
Sorry, I'm going to need the question again because we're Rogan.
Anything about the audio bugs, levels, volumes? I believe it was something like that.
Can you be more specific?
I cannot.
What part of, I mean,
but
not
maybe
you.
they can. I know.
What part of the game? You're referring to maybe game sound being too loud, like gunshots, as opposed to music?
Yeah.
Anything like that?
So, some more info, my friend. Exile says, can a crouch walk mechanic be implemented for sneak attacks?
Ooh, like this, except not on a car. Make it happen, T.
Sneak attacks. We had a very large design discussion for the original game that I could start share with all of you. Some of you may know this, but when we were developing the original game, there were a good, let's just say 50-50. 50-50 of all the developers wanted to crouch. So 50% did and 50% did not. They said, if you want to crouch, you take cover. That's how you crouch in our game. And other people said, but I want to just crouch in the middle of the street. And so it was a very fun, very interesting design debate when you're just trying to figure out what is your game. Like, is a crouch anywhere useful? Yes, absolutely. Would it provide interesting tactics and situations? Yes. Does that mean it's right for our game? That was for the creative director at the time to decide. Obviously, you know how the story ended. We did not ship with a, crouch anywhere model.
A PvE exclusive DZ. We've talked about it quite a bit for Division 1.
We sure did. It was too scary for a lot of people.
I don't know.
The PvE version.
I don't know if the mentality changed for not having one in the Division 2, man.
I haven't seen the conversation as well. And I honestly, I think there's a number of reasons for that. I think it's a complicated discussion. I think part of it is, when we look at the stats, you'd be amazed at how many people are not max world tier right now. There are people, and obviously our most dedicated community members have been max world tier for quite some time. The bulk of our population is not yet in world tier, and that means they're not in the dark zone. And so it hasn't yet come up. They're not talking about it because they're having such a damned good time running around the open world, finishing side missions, getting shade crates, doing main missions, and having a great time, stopping public executions and whatnot. And so they're just not going into that content. When we were having the discussions about PvE Dark Zone, that was at the end of year 2 of the original game.
Yeah.
The living world was not so living in the original game. And so the loops we had in the Dark Zone were so unique when compared to the open world. It was the best place to go because the frequency of loot you were getting and the vibrancy of our patrols and landmarks in the original game separated it from the open world, so everyone felt like they needed to go in. So many people were uncomfortable with the idea that someone could just kind of, kill you.
Take your stuff.
Yeah. So it makes sense to me that I haven't seen the discussion. I'm sure it will come up again. I'm sure it will come up. We have a lot of really, really fun plans that will take time. What's that person doing? I'm not a fan when somebody just rolls up behind me like that. What your current gear score is, it's always around your gear score, so it's possible to get lower drops as well.
I'm sorry.
For what?
I'm not paying attention.
I'm paying attention. You do your thing.
Got him.
You got he.
I want my loot back.
Oh, steal that loot. That's so beautiful. I love it. We have a pretty complicated set of loot tables and loot rules that talks about what loot should and shouldn't be, and depending on, your gear score and stuff like that. We're still working stuff out. We're still tenderizing this beef.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Unless you're a vegetarian, then it's terrible.
That's just
This might be a late question. Daenerys, I'm a big fan of your work in Game of Thrones. AMVQ says, any discussion on increasing DZ player capacity?
An agent needs assistance.
We're having a number of discussions right now about the player experience in the Dark Zone, including the frequency that people see other people. So, don't you worry. Oh man, what a fun game. I'm having so much fun.
yeah, dude.